So I'm sorry and I apologize in advance if I look like I've been dragged through the bush backwards, because I've been so busy today and I just thought I've got to make this video. I've been wanting to make it for ages, but I just never have got around to doing it. I have to start using these dried flowers. I mean, it's wonderful to come into the workshop and have all these grasses hanging here, but they would look better if they were in bunches in people's homes and things like that. And as we've got Mother's Day coming up, I thought I'd really got to get stuck in and make some bunches. I actually made a lovely hand-tied bunch earlier, so we'll go through how I made that. But I think it's a good idea just to give you a general idea how to dry flowers, how I dry my flowers, and give you a general overview. Later on in the season, I think in September, what I normally do, I go foraging and I can show you the sorts of things that I collect. I can also just share with you the sort of things to grow as well. I'm going to start, I've got some honesty seeds that I managed to, when I forage the honesty, I managed to collect some seeds. Of course, there are the everlastings as well, which I'm going to be using this flower. So there's actually some grasses that just grow wildly on the sides of the rows that you can really forage. And I've got a vase in my room. I'll put a little picture up there. That is now over 1 year and 2 months old. Provided your dried flowers are not in direct sunlight, they will last and they will keep its natural colour. I wish you had a smellometer here on this video, because it smells absolutely lovely. I've got some dried lavender in here. There's dried lavender, there's longleaf eucalyptus, there is some pampas grass, I've got some erynchium in here. Of course, there's the little straw flower everlasting, got some beautiful hydrangea, and other bits and bobs that I'm not going to be able to tell you what they are, because when I forage, I just see something. Isn't this absolutely, some of you might even know it, but it's this beautiful little pink colour here. And this lovely, it was just, again, on my walks near an old abandoned railway line, there was just loads and loads of this, and it's really got a soft sort of purpley shade to it. So that's created a lovely, you know, contrast to the other colours that I've got here. So don't be restricted to what you normally see when you're walking. And the best thing to do, I sometimes could kick myself now, because I thought, okay, maybe that's good, maybe that's not good, and I just picked 1 or 2 bits, and when I realized how wonderfully they dried, I just think, damn, I wish I'd got more. So yeah, get a good bunch of something, and I'll talk you through the techniques that are most successful for me anyway, on how to dry flowers. So the obvious technique is obviously your air drying technique. The reason why you need to forage and pick your grasses and things in the summer is because you need the heat to dry them out. I tried to string up some roses here and dry them, and they went moldy. So for obvious reasons, you need heat. So wherever you are, just make sure where you're going to be drying them, it's got plenty of space and as much sunlight as possible, in terms of not direct but just warmth. I managed to salvage some of the roses and I put them in my airing cupboard, so hopefully, fingers crossed, because there were roses that were left over from a wedding, and they were beautiful, a deep lilac colour. Actually the eryngium here, which I have here, that was also left over from the wedding, and surprisingly it's dried incredibly quickly. So I'm really happy with that. So any flowers that you can actually salvage from a bouquet or stuff, hang them upside down, you know, give them a whirl. What you definitely can salvage is if you use your silica gel. I've got stunning peonies that I've managed to dry in silica gel, and of course roses dry beautifully as well. So silica gel is an amazing, keeps the colour beautifully and also keeps the shape of the flower, and that's tremendously successful. What I also use the microwave for is I dry the leaves. Now you can dry these between the book the old-fashioned way. I don't have that much patience, and I find 30 seconds in the microwave. I bought one of those special microwavable containers. It's almost like a press. Again, I'll put the description up here because I can't remember the name offhand, but it's fabulous. I use it a lot when I'm making that. And then from the leaves, especially around Christmas time, I actually make flowers. So this is one of the leaves, and if you look at that, that is now over a year old, and look how beautiful the color is. And what I tend to do is actually make flowers out of these as well. So I can't tell you every little thing I do. Maybe I'll do other tutorials, but I just wanted to give you a general idea what you can do with dried flowers, you know, or dried leaves, or dried foliage for that matter. There's so many applications. I've got all my flowers laid out in front of me to start the arrangement. However, some of the stems are a little bit short. Now in this dried flower that I made, I used long stems of pampas grass. However, what I did was I took some of the bottom stems off, flowers off, and now there will be too short to make them in this particular bouquet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lengthen the stem by using kebab sticks. So if you've got kebab sticks around, you can use them to lengthen your dried flowers. Simply pop the kebab stick up into the pampas grass or whatever you want to lengthen. Take your floral tape and bind it round. So when you are doing your floral tape, what you do is you pull it, and at the same time you turn it, and you just go as far down the stem as you need to secure it. If it's, and there you can see, whoo, a few little seeds coming out. That's another tip actually. If you want to make sure that your dried flowers don't seed, you can actually spray them with the cheapest hair lacquer or hairspray that you can find. If you haven't got kebab sticks, you can use other stems. This was too long, so cut off. So exactly the same principle. You just pop it on and use your floral tape and secure it to the stick, stem or whatever, and secure it down the stem. I always tend to double it at the top just to make sure that it's a really nice, strong fixing. So it's not going to come off, and there you go, done. You could also even use sellotape, exactly the same. As long as you create a little bit of tension, and as you're turning, you sort of give it a little bit of a pull. So here we go. You see there? Give it a little bit of a pull and turn it as you're going round. So it's as good as any floral tape, and of course you're not going to see it because it is amongst the flowers. For those of you who've watched my videos before, you can also wire end tape. You can use any wire. I don't tend to use the florist wire because it's actually quite expensive, so I just use the normal real wire, but whatever you've got handy. And then simply what you do is you get how many stems you want together, make a little loop like so, take the longest length of the wire and simply wind it around itself, And there you go. And if you want to make it stronger, again, get your floral tape and just start wiring and taping. And there you have it. Okay, we're ready to start. I'm going to take a fuller, this lovely purpley filler. And one thing you must remember, that if you're going to be working with dried flowers, there is going to be some, you know, droppage, if that's the word. You know, they're going to be flowers that fall on the, you know, while you're working with them. That's not a problem. There will definitely be flowers left on the stems, don't you worry. And I'm just separating them slightly and just making them into a loose bunch here. And my hand is in a little circle, thumb to middle finger, and that's creating a little sort of neck of a vase, so to say. And that's going to be how I'm going to be arranging the flowers. That is pretty much going to be the shape of the arrangement, and I'm just building it up from there. All right. Don't have to worry too much, but just keep going until you have your basic shape, and then we can start filling in between that. There you go. That's essentially going to be a front-facing arrangement. Now I've got my outline of what I want it to look like. I can start filling it in, and I love these sort of reddish leaves here. And I'm just going to pop them in. Don't worry that they have to be as high as the others. These can be slightly lower. I've actually only got 3 stems, so I'm going to just pop them. This is where you can cross in front. You can either pop it through, or you can cross front and just lift your thumb here and have it there. Okay? Basically always working in 3s. And this one is much shorter. So I think later on I'll just come and put it down in the front. But I'm going to leave that for the moment. But I'll remember that for later, because I'm going to probably put some hydrangeas down the front here. Okay. So I'm liking that now, and I'm thinking, okay, let's get some eucalyptus in. I'm just starting to thread some eucalyptus through, just to give it a little bit of movement. Okay. Right. Now I'm going to take a handful of the lavender, and I'm just going to pop it through. As I always say with my videos, it's a very organic process. You just have to look at it, and once you've got your shape, you're just really filling in. And as I said with my hand, I can either push it through, but when I come to the outside, I just lift my thumb away like I did before, and I just push it there. And it's good to grab a little handful and work like that. If you wanted to, you could also wire a bunch together like this and just put it in. Get whatever makes you feel comfortable. Right, it's just building up the different textures, and obviously all this colour is very samey, which is what I wanted to do initially. I want to get all the sort of same colours together, the same tonality, and then I'll start putting a bit more contrast in afterwards. And it sometimes makes it easier also while you're making it if you cut it. Or you can do that right at the end, whatever, just makes it a little bit more easy to handle. Right, I think I want to start putting some focal points in now. And I'm going to just use my teasel here. Again, if you wanted to, you could lengthen them, but quite luckily these are long. If you want to, you can bunch two together. I'm just going to leave 3 in at the moment, because my other focal flowers I'm going to use are my straw flowers. And luckily there's 3 on a stem here, so I'll pop them in the middle for focal point. In the front. Now you can see why I tend to use a lot of monochrome colour first to create the shape and the context of the arrangement. Now I start putting the focal points in, and then starts to make a little bit more sense. But you know, everybody has their own way of doing things. If you look at so many different videos, so many different techniques, and that's absolutely super, because you should learn from everybody and find something that works for yourself. I'm going to pop that through there and put 2 at the top there. Okay. Right. What should we do now? Right, I'm going to put a little bit more colour in here now with some of the grasses. Grabbing a bunch together, just because it's more, makes more impact. Okay, liking the movement. The thing with dried flowers, they can be very static and very staid, and that's not my style. I prefer a lot more natural feeling to it. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start putting in my sort of feature. And I'm still continuing to just thread everything through. Used my kebab stick. I don't know, this one I might just keep them behind and not even bring them to the front. The other one I tended to bring to the front, so I think that's what I'm going to do with this. I'm just going to keep them long and at the back. Create a little bit of wow there. And just leave the front. Maybe slightly at the side. This one is wire, so it's not as strong. Just going to thread this one through. I'm getting tangled up with the dried flowers behind me here. Okay, all right, let's see. Now, starting, I really love this, I don't even know, some grey bush or something. I just want some more sort of depth to it. So I'm going to pop this in, running out of space to put things. So you can keep building the front to the side. Now I've got these little lovely little poppies. Well, they're not poppies anymore, are they? They're the poppy pods, I suppose you could call them. Right, I'm liking all the, a lot more sort of natural and floaty, this one. Let's just put a little bit more of the purple in. Right, and I love my hydrangeas. I'm going to put them in the front here. 1, 2, 3. Okay. You can move things around while you're doing it. How do you think that's looking? Yeah? And just feel really like these everlastings here. So I might try another grouping. Perhaps at the bottom there. Getting quite full now. I'm quite want this one here. This is not long enough, so I'm going to just stick a thing on this. I think I wanted that to come really tall there. Actually, just be tall enough. Yeah. I've also got my lovely little pink here. And the last little pink, I think, down the bottom, or maybe at the back. Bring the colour throughout. I might bring the thistly down the front. I think that'd be nice there. What do you think that looks like, ladies? Maybe it's got a lot of bits of the eucalyptus there and throughout. I think I just need a little bit down the bottom, and I think we're almost done. Find out where the stem is. There it is. Let's work it through. That slipped to the back now. We're going to just need to bring. So don't be afraid to, obviously, when you keep threading things through, things do move position slightly. So you can, you know, bring things forward, move things around. Otherwise, you know, your hand does get tired. It's holding this, so it's not a problem. You can also tie it off earlier if you want to. And if you, it does take a bit of time and effort to maybe, let's just have a little look here. No, I don't like that there. I quite like just the top there. Let's have a little look. Yeah, what it is that I just don't like that over there, so I think I need to balance it out on this side here. Just there. Side's giving me problems. Almost there. I just need to do that there. That's it. There you go. Going to cut my stems. I'm going to tie it off. You can use twine. You can use string. You can use anything really. You just have to secure your bunch. You can even use elastic band if you want. Now you can just bring the stems together and cut them a bit better. That's if it goes for that. You can just go back on it and tidy it up. So there is the finished arrangement, and this is the one I did yesterday. I don't know which one I prefer. I like the eryngium in this one, but I didn't have any more. Oh no, I actually do. Yeah, I think that's what this is missing. It's missing the blue that this one has in. I'm just going to quickly get it down and I'm going to pop it in there and let's see the finished product. I find what I do with my arrangements, because I'm very critical, I tend to leave them now and then come back the next day. Otherwise, a lot of things would be taken apart and end up in the bin. So what I try and encourage people to do is to just enjoy the process. It's never going to be perfect. There's always things that you feel that you could have done better. But it is a process, and every time you do something, you get a bit better, you try something new, and it's just so rewarding, and I am happy with this. But as I say, I'll give myself a little bit of space and come look at it again tomorrow. So here's the bouquets. If they're hand ties, they should be able to stand up by themselves, but don't worry if they don't. I hope you have been inspired. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. I hope that you look around you when you walk and you see things and you can pick them. Obviously not in somebody's garden, but if in the fields or in your garden, try it. Hang them upside down in a warm place, see how they go. And then also, like I'm going to do this year, perhaps grow some flowers that you can use in your bouquets. And also, if you get a bouquet of fresh flowers as a gift, dry some of them as well, and then just continue to enjoy them for a lot longer. Right, thank you so much for watching. I will give you a close-up of these bouquets and yeah, enjoy and be inspired. Take care. Hope to see you again soon. Bye bye now.